I'm now officially recording. So that is just recording me, okay? So yeah, see each other's names in the comments. Know that you guys are here together. If you're watching on replay, you can know that there's plenty of people here, over 20 of us live, and you are part of this as well. I want you to look at each other's names and the hellos that are coming through. Hello from Barcelona. Hello, hello. Because this is attachment healing, what we are talking about today. And being supported without judgment by people that get you is, it's just an underlying foundation that you see when you look at attachment research. Okay, now guys, we have now less than an hour. I want to get through the 6 skills that I know it takes to move from insecure to secure. So let's do this. Let's go in the chat box. I'm guessing, since you guys are here, I'm guessing that you can relate, just trying to sort my dress out, to, or that you know about insecure attachment. I'm assuming that you at least have some foundations. So what I ask you to do is, in the chat box, is to let us know whether you relate to anxious, avoidant, both, or secure. What is the attachment style that you relate to the most? Anxious. For me, the most pain has been related to anxious, but absolutely I see avoidant in me as well. I always have, especially when it came to the dating and it came to, you know, the secure people feeling boring or them feeling too much, me being convinced that they were anxious. Yes, anxious and sometimes avoidant. When I feel hurt, I shut down. I relate to that. I fully relate to that. So look at, again, I'm going to call you again to collectively look at each other's answers and just notice those similarities. Today, I am introducing a brand new 12-week course. It is called Becoming Secure, and it is all about breaking the cycle of anxious and or avoidant attachment. Okay. I am Carly Ann. I'm a qualified somatic attachment coach. I have been working with people to change their lives in some form, whether that is through my time working for the NHS in mental health, whether that is my time where I was working across London prisons and community services, helping people to overcome problems with addictions. That was drug and alcohol. I now work with people a lot around love addiction, addiction to certain emotions, to certain patterns, to certain strategies, you know. But most importantly, I now work with people to move towards secure patterns, to break free from strategies that are not serving us anymore, that feel outdated, that once did have a purpose. If you leave here and you go on to join the course, because this is to let you know about the course, then you're going to dive into these 6 skills in so much more detail. If you leave here and you do not join the course, I'm hoping that you still leave here with some idea of how you can move forward with your therapist, your coach, with self-help, whatever it might be. Okay, so we're going to take a couple of minutes now just to introduce the course, and then I want you to get your pen and paper ready. Okay, but before we do that, let's just take a moment. We must land. Some of you might be working, some of you might be distracted. That's okay. If you're working, I get it, right? I get it. If you are not, though, I invite you to really just come to the present moment. Part of insecure attachment is struggling with being in the present moment. Your lived experience, your past, often means that it's really difficult for you to stay still. You might be distracted, you might feel impatient, you might really struggle with like slow exercise, meditation, yoga. So I invite you now to set an intention for yourself to be here with us. And together we're just going to take 3 deep breaths. I'm not going to ask you to count them. I'm not going to ask you to do anything else. I'm just going to ask you to kind of land here with me before we go through these 6 skills. That's 2 breaths for me. You don't have to match me. You're your own person. And I'm just seeing all of your names and just welcome, welcome, welcome. Insecure attachment, anxious and or avoidant can be extremely painful, especially for people like you, people like us, where we know there's something more for us. We know in our heart and soul that there's something more. It's like a calling, whether that is more in terms of a healthy, happy relationship that we're in or that we want to be in. Whether it's that we want to be able to engage in our daily lives more, or whether it's that we have dreams and passions that we wish we could go for a little bit more, but we're distracted by relationships, by the person that we like, by the person that's not messaging back, or the thought of our partner leaving us. Okay, so I'm going to introduce the course, then we're going to dive in to the first 3 skills. Just as I set up sharing the course, I would love if you could take a moment just to look inwards, thinking about the experience of having an insecure attachment. And just by the way, today, anything that I talk about, you are not your insecure attachment. You are so much more. And that is what this course, Becoming Secure, is all about. You are so much more, but we have to tap into that. Write in the comments as I'm sharing the screen and getting myself sorted on the admin side. Write one word that sums up how you really, really desire to live your life, to experience relationships, to feel about yourself. One word that comes to you. Confident. Yes, yes, yes. Free, vulnerable, free, freedom. One of my courses was called Finding Freedom. Feeling free. All of the courses that I've ever done, all of the training that I have ever delivered to some of you in the past has brought me to this signature course, has brought me to these 6 skills. My training in attachment, my training in mental health, in self-esteem, in compassion has brought me to these 6 skills because they are weaved like between all of them. Becoming secure is about mastering these 6 skills so that you can overcome insecure attachment and enhance the quality of your relationship, not just with others, but also with yourself. That's what I really, really want you to hear. This is going to be, it's going to be 12 weeks. We're going to kick off in May, a powerful online course. You don't have to be there live. It can be replay, or there will be some live if you love that. And we're in the same time zones and all of those things. A journey of healing and breaking the cycle of anxious and or avoidant attachment so that we can feel more confident, more content, we can free ourselves. If that's how we want to feel, then that is what our secure self is calling us for. I believe that every single person here, so look at each other's names in the chat box. I believe that each and every one of you, myself included, deserve to experience a healthy love without constantly expecting the worst and worrying about the end. And here's the thing about your course: no matter your paycheck, no matter your gender, your social circle, because we can have the best friends, we can have all of the money, no matter how many years you've been doing this work, these 6 skills are still at the center of all the attachment research. Don't know how I just did that. They're at the center of all attachment research, all of them. And I'm going to share some of the problems that you might be experiencing. Okay. If you are, I want to be here with you. So I'm going to give you the link to that so that you can read through all of them later. And the same with the workbook today. I'm going to share a page, and then I just want to be here talking with you guys, because this is what counts. This here is what is attachment healing. If you know you need to feel more secure in your life, in your relationships with yourself, it's possible that's because you're falling into certain habits and certain patterns. I'm going to share like 3 or 4, and then I want you to let me know, or let each other know in the comments. I'm going to read out some because I know that people on replay, obviously I can't read out all of them. People on replay, I'll try and share some of them with you, what other people are sharing. So some of the patterns that you might be experiencing, and I want you to share as well in just a moment. Pause before you write your own patterns. Just hear me say a few. Really listen to the sound of my voice. Come and be with me in this moment and with each other. So just feel the chair that you're sat on, feel your feet on the ground, and just land here a second. It's possible that you know so much about attachment and self-soothing, but you struggle to regulate in the moment in your day-to-day. It's possible that you struggle to communicate with the person you love or the people that you love until you're drunk, until you explode and have an outburst, until there's conflict, or until things end. It is possible that jealousy and comparison are an issue for you in romantic relationships. You might have an obsession with a specific person, like an ex, or more generally, like the opposite sex. If you're in a relationship, which many of you are, your thoughts might surround not being important, not being chosen by your partner, not being good enough, them leaving. You might have images of them cheating on you. Just come back to the moment so that you don't go into that. I don't want you to go there. Come back to the moment. That was just an example. If you're single, your thoughts might surround being alone, feeling different, that this is never going to happen for me, I'm never going to be chosen, or obsessing over an ex or obsessing over someone new. Now, it's hard not to share the rest of the examples that you might be experiencing, but I'm going to stop myself. I want to hear from you guys again. Tell me the pattern that is hurting you at the moment. What's hurting you? And whilst you do that, I'm going to have a sip of my coffee. It's my first coffee of the day. When I was single, the patterns that were hurting me were the obsessing. Oh my God, I would obsess over someone, usually when it ended or when I sensed rejection. In a relationship, when I really had to dive into these skills, was when my partner would go out. It was that the proximity, it was that space apart. And now I can tell you, I'm not exaggerating when I say I'm now able to enjoy time alone and be really happy for him when he goes out. Obsessing over how things would plan out, obsessing about what others are doing. I'm being used. So fear of being used, I assume. Worry about the future, that my partner will leave, cheat, I didn't choose well, he's not for me. I know that. I definitely can relate to both you mentioned. My partner went out, what is he doing? Who is he talking to? Yeah, the images, right? Obsessing yet again over someone who I know doesn't reciprocate, and also I actually know is no good for me and emotionally unavailable. Guys, there's so many examples here. I might try and find a way to share them for the replay as well, because you guys are incredible for sharing this. Please, I know I keep saying this, but let's just take a moment to pause and read each other's answers. I'm currently single and I find myself obsessing over my future and the outcome. Being obsessed with a person, jealousy, fear of abandonment. The reason I want you to see each other's answers is because you're not on your own. And it really, really is possible to interrupt this. We have to interrupt, understand, and reshape. So although I'm giving you 6 skills, there are phases that I work with, and we will do that through those 12 weeks. Understanding, interrupting, and reshape. So within the course, Becoming Secure, which is a paid course, each module, the 6 modules, that's each skill that I'm going to go through today, will be about understanding, interrupting, and reshaping so that you can become more secure. Now, as I share these skills with you now, I'm going to literally tell you how an insecure person, remember, it's not who you are, you just have insecure strategies. So let me reword that. How a person with insecure strategies, yeah, tends to experience love and relationships and shows up with these particular skills that we all need, versus people with more secure strategies. Okay. I just realized as well, I didn't ask anyone about putting your camera on. There's absolutely no, what's the word, pressure to. I always say that it's your boundaries. In the course, I might ask to see you because it's powerful to see each other. Okay. Breather. This is really important. You can do this in team meetings. You can do this if you're having difficult conversations. You can do this when you feel a little bit awkward or insecure. A moment to breathe and take a snapshot. That's all I'm doing here. Even though we've got however many people we have here now, 25, I'm like, right, let me take a breather before I transition into this next bit. If I don't take that breath, you guys are just going to get me coming at you, right? Because I won't have time to think. Obsessing, jealousy, fear of betrayal, fear of abandonment. Thank you, thank you, thank you for sharing. Thank you. I want you to grab your pen and paper. Some of you might have the workbook and some of you might not. We're going to start by just doing a little bit of a rating. So something we will be doing on the course each week, or for each module, I should say, is tracking. Tracking is so important. Tracking means that we are checking in with ourselves. How am I feeling? How am I feeling compared to a week ago? How am I doing with this skill? And so what I'm going to ask you to do is just have a little practice right now. And whether you have, if you have the workbook printed, you can use that, or if not, I'll just explain it to you. But a rating here out of 10, 1 being not very and 10 being extremely. There you go, Lola, thank you. I want to know how secure you are right now, how you feel. It's not how you are, that's not true. It's how you feel, actually. 6, 7, 4, 5, 6. Look at this absolute variation, absolute variety, that's the word. Now I want you to go for how secure you want to be. How secure do you want to be? Secure when I'm single, not at all when I'm in a relationship. Yes, absolutely, that happens. That absolutely happens. Second one, how much do you believe in yourself? And write this down, rate. How much do I believe in myself? How much do I want to believe in myself? I call the single confidence the happy single bubble. Not everyone has that, because some people don't feel happy when they're single. They're not don't have that confidence. It's almost the opposite for them. But the course is aimed for both, whether you're single or in relationship. 7, 8, I want 10. Your ability to soothe in the moment, write these down for yourself. Whether you're going to do the course or whether you're doing self-help, you can still check this again in 2 weeks, in 4 weeks. What's my ability to self-soothe in the moment? Where do I want to be and how am I getting on? Ability to soothe is 2. Ability around 4. Ability to soothe 3, 4. I noticed that soothing has kind of that lower rating, doesn't it? Okay, your confidence in what you bring to relationships. So what you bring to the table, not what they bring. not putting them on the pedestal. How much are you able to sit there and tell me what you bring to your relationships? 7, 8, 6. Love these. These ones are higher. I see that. And what about others telling me 10 and more, but I feel 5? That's all that counts is you, right? How do we feel on the inside? Sometimes we do this work, we're doing the right things, but our inner world is still very chaotic. I want you to feel soothed on the inside. I think of the times at the beginning when my boyfriend, now I've been together a year plus, at the beginning there were times where he cancelled, right, a date, let's say. There's two that are coming to mind, and in that moment, to not message him and feel good. And what I mean by not message is not be like, oh, upset and do all of that stuff, and feel present and think, okay, well, I've got this course that I'm going to do instead then. In the past, I would have been flat out not able to function, pushing him away, rather than just give that freedom of, yeah, it's fair enough actually why he's cancelled. So it's not just, can I hold back from messaging him? It's also, can I feel okay? I don't just want to look good for him or her. I don't want to do this just so that they want me. I want to feel less chaotic, hopeful and excited about the future. Where are you with that? This one's really important, as you'll see in the final skill. I want you to feel excited about your future, about your life, about what you bring, about your gifts, your passions, your purpose. Okay, so now you have a sense of where you are and where you want to be. And listen, I truly, truly believe in you. And I can already tell, I bet you believe in each other. I'm trained in compassion focused therapy. So, yes, we've got the attachment somatic work that I'm trained in, but also compassion focused. Compassion focused is, can you believe in yourself and treat yourself the same way that you support each other in this group? Already, just in this chat, the way you're liking each other's and being there for each other. Can you offer that to yourself as well? Can we receive it? Can we give it? The first skill of the secure skills is self-reflection. We will be spending 2 weeks on each of these skills. Here is what I want you to, I guess, know. Self-reflection is the ability to go inwards and notice our thoughts, notice our feelings, our drives, that we want to act like this, that we want to do this, and that this hurts me. It's not being triggered, because you're human still. Self-reflection is to understand ourselves and say, wow, I'm getting really, really distressed here. And it doesn't seem in proportion to my partner being out on a Friday night, especially because he's literally in touch with me. That's a real life example. And I'm in extreme distress, like pain, physical pain here. Self-reflection is that ability to go inwards and explore that. And that itself is healing. Now, these skills on their own are really powerful. Combine them together, and it's like another world. What I mean by that is, for my ability to reflect, then to regulate and use one of the other skills, then to tap into my own greatness, which is one of the other skills. With insecure attachment, so people that typically have some kind of attachment trauma where their past relationships are influencing their current relationships, they tend to have a real difficulty with being with their inner experience, that is to go inwards and to be with myself. Instead, what we tend to do is go outwards. Where are they? What are they doing? They can make me feel better. I need them, and I need them now. Someone, or this specific person, is what I need in order to feel better and balanced. Quite often unable to name emotions. We know, right, that people do better in therapy when they are able to go, I feel sad. Actually, this is making me feel sad, rather than that person is doing this to me. I'm always going to be on my own. And rather than just focusing on the thought and the overthinking, we're able to go inwards and acknowledge my heart rate is extremely fast right now. People with insecure attachment really struggle to do that. We need to be able to decipher between our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions. And so what I invite you to do right now, in this moment, is to just write down and acknowledge the thoughts that you have been having today so far. What kind of thoughts have you been having about yourself or about someone else? I'm worth more. To be able to reflect is going to help us to separate our thoughts from our feelings. And this is where we stop the spiral. Someone with a secure attachment, they are more able to reflect, to notice what they're feeling, to notice what's triggering it, and to know why. When my partner helps me feel secure, which I'm entitled to, I'm a much healthier person. It's not my fault when I act insecure. I really believe that when we are insecure, our natural reactions can be to do things that can make us feel crazy sometimes. What is our responsibility is to learn as adults how to manage that, to manage our behaviors. So it's one thing we reflect on how we feel, and then how do we put that out into the world? If my partner has said something that's upsetting to me, and I reflect on that and I understand that, and I know why I'm feeling this way, I then can express out into the world, that's the bridge to him, how I'm feeling and what's happened, if I choose to. And if I can do that from a grounded place where I've reflected, we can prevent conflict, we can prevent pushing away, we can prevent upset, even whoever's in right or wrong. So on the course, when it comes to reflecting, this is where you need to, so not on the course as well, this is where you need to be making sure that you have a daily practice. I'm going for daily. Especially if you're on the course, we're going all in. So whether you're going to do the course or not, you need to have a skill in self-reflection. To do that, you need to be at least weekly, having a practice where you are listening to your thoughts, your feelings, your behaviors. So keeping records, checking in, taking snapshots throughout your day. How am I? How am I feeling? Right now, okay, how am I feeling? I'm a bit short of breath, so I'm just going to slow down. Yeah, so that's what I really, really encourage you to do. In this module, this is when we understand why you struggle to listen to yourself first. Why are you going outwards? Why are you giving someone else your power? You're going to rediscover yourself, your inner world, and tap into your intuition, because we lose touch with our intuition when we're not able to reflect. You're going to be able to catch yourself before you say and do things you regret. So skill 1, self-reflection. Skill 2, emotion regulation. This is to be able to regulate ourselves. This is to be able to bring ourselves back to center, bring ourselves back to balance. When something happens in your world to send you off track, can you rebalance yourself? Can you come back to center? That's the skill. People with an insecure attachment really, really struggle to do this. When something in your world, especially relationship related, a funny look from someone, taking longer to text back, saying something that reminds you of, something from your past, uncertainty, a huge one, right? Huge, huge. We struggle, our emotions become overwhelming or disconnected. And with insecure attachment, we get stuck in a state. Once we move into a triggered state, it can feel very difficult to move back to our secure state. Yeah, so a triggered state in relationship. People, especially with anxious attachment, when they're in relationship with someone else, struggle to be in relationship with themselves. That's the truth. We can change that. That's what we're doing here together right now. And so, of course, being in relationship with someone is more difficult than being single sometimes. Sometimes. For avoidant, it might be that we go to the extremes of not being in relationship because of that, because of the fear of losing ourselves or being left, being hurt. Your why, that's for you. We'll look at the whys as well on the course, but just not in an hour workshop. And of course, I see some of my one-to-one clients, of course, we look at your why. So secure people with secure attachments, just know that those words are not nice. It's just lack of good language for it, okay? They tend to be able to move back after being triggered. So that's the thing. They can move themselves back into a secure state, a soothed state. What we need to be able to do here is we need to be able to recognize when we go into a different state and choose to come back. The way that we do that is through our daily habits. So do you have a grounding exercise, or does grounding and meditation and slowness make you feel itchy? Make you feel impatient? To be able to regulate is to be able to soothe yourself and call on someone else in an appropriate manner. Sometimes we do need someone else at appropriate times. But really what I'm doing in this course is I'm really talking about when you need to self-soothe first. For various reasons, people with insecure attachment don't have the skills to do that. Our nervous system is not set up for it yet. In terms of what it actually looks like to self-soothe, this is where, so on the course, there's going to be several examples of tools and strategies because everyone is different. So yes, an example of self-soothing would be tapping while saying affirmations for one person. Someone else might find that excruciating. Yeah, someone else that might be like, not for me. And that is what we have to be really careful with these courses and with coaching. It's why one-to-one is great, but it's why my courses are great, is because I know this. It's about your lived experience. It's about using our five senses to experiment. So people feel with insecure attachment too much or too little. Too much is when you get triggered and you become so overwhelmed, so panicked, you completely lose yourself. You may not be able to concentrate on anything, only what this threat is. Too little is when we shut down, we're disconnected, can't even get up and make a cup of tea. That's extreme examples, of course. You may be able to relate to them, or you might feel like, well, I definitely struggle a bit more with functioning, but I can still get up and make a cup of tea. And so which of those can you relate to the most? Too much or too little? Our job here with this skill is to help you to feel in the middle. That's what we call the window of tolerance. And there is research, especially attachment focused, to help you build. And I know you'll be saying the how, the how, the how. That's what the course is. Or you just focus on this skill. If you're just going to do self-help and you're not joining the course, take this one skill and learn about emotion regulation. More often too much. Yeah, always sway between the two. And what three emotions do you tend to feel the most in your life that you really, really want to change? Is it guilt, anxiety, embarrassment, sadness? Shame, anxiety, and guilt are a sign that something is going on underneath. There is something underneath. They are the surface emotions. So on the course, this is when you learn to release and let go of trapped emotion. This is where you will look at self-soothing in the moment when nothing is working, when it feels like you've tried everything. This is the part of the course where I help you with self-soothing in the moment. This is also when we're going to use your emotions to be a powerful guide in love, relationships, dating, and where you want to go with your life. The third skill has to be belief work. I am a somatic coach, but I absolutely believe in the power of recognizing our thoughts, seeing where our thoughts spiral to, and bringing ourselves back before we go too far. The sooner we bring ourselves back, the better. And there are skills to be able to do that. Insecure attachment often get very, very merged with their beliefs that I'm not good enough, that they're leaving me. They fully believe them in those moments. Someone with a more secure attachment can probably notice their thoughts spiraling or that they're not very accurate. And what they can do, which is really, really powerful, is they can bring in other ideas, other possibilities, other people's perspectives, even when triggered. And that again helps that recentering, helps coming back to that secure attachment. So I want you to think of a time that you have been triggered, or typically when you get triggered. And I want you to think about what are the kind of thoughts associated with this triggering situation for you? What are the types of thoughts that you have in those moments? Maybe it's that they don't like me anymore, they're leaving, I'm bad, I should have done this, I should have done that, shoulda, woulda, couldas, right? On the 12-week course, we will be looking at your specific thoughts. Because with the course, a lot of it is pre-recorded and you'll have 2 weeks to watch that training. And on that, it will be asking you for your own examples, as much as kind of that one-to-one element that we can. And that is where you will get very clear on your thoughts. And when you know your thoughts, we can put them on a bit of paper, and then we know when we're having those thoughts, this is my insecurity. Makes me scared to be hurt again, telling myself it's going to happen, fear that it's not going to happen. Yeah, it can feel so out of control. It can feel so out of control. What do you notice about the thoughts that you have in those triggered moments? What do you notice about them? Do they seem really extreme? Do they seem hard on you? With insecure attachment, there tends to be very negative thoughts and expectations around relationships, around others, and around ourselves. That people leave. No one's going to love me. And it is influenced by our past. And what we have to do is actually have fun as well. Trust me, it's not all doom and gloom. Have fun with each other, like on the course, and gathering new information so that we can begin to expand how we think. When we can regulate, when we can use these skills to regulate, to reflect, and to change our thoughts, we expand our capacity to experience love, healthy relationships, self-esteem, and then we feel happier. And for me, that's really what I want to help people with. Yes, to become secure, but the bonus of that is for us to feel happier. Yes, please. Yes, please. That's what this is really about. I know many people will be coming here wanting the relationship or it's something to do with someone else. But for me, it's about your happiness and your well-being. And when we feel more secure, guess what? It improves our well-being and our happiness. Let's have a think about, just for the sake of it and bringing in some goodness, what are the thoughts that you want to think? And by the way, the thoughts that you want to think, I believe that you are capable of thinking and believing. I really do. When you put into practice these skills, you can start to have new thoughts, new automatic thoughts as well. Sure that my thoughts are true no matter how crazy they are. You're not crazy. I can't tell you that all your thoughts are true. Over 70% of our thoughts are not true. It's true that we're having them, but it doesn't make them facts. I struggle to believe that I can be such a rational and irrational person at the same time. Anyone with insecure attachment gets you, I'm sure. We do go between rational and irrational, and when we start to understand secure attachment and build the skills that we always deserved, these 6 skills are skills that you always deserved, we start to live from a more rational, grounded place. This is the part of the course where you get to recognize and pause when negative and or anxious thoughts are taking over so that you can shift before you spiral. This is where you learn how to reconnect with reality and balanced thinking, especially when it really feels like you've lost a sense of self or irrational thoughts feel real. And this is when we're going to use a very specific method to come from mind, the overthinking, the ruminating, back to reality. You need this if you're an overthinker, if you're a worrier. I want you to know it is possible to earn a secure attachment, self-soothe, and make better choices, even if right now it feels like you have tried everything and still keep repeating patterns. Becoming Secure is an online course where you are invited to come and learn how to master 6 skills that can help you overcome insecure attachment and enhance the quality of your relationship with self and others. It's a powerful online course for anyone on a journey of healing and breaking the cycle of anxious and/or avoidant attachment. Not sure if this is for you? Listen, guys, if you feel passionate and determined to create a mind and body that replicates secure attachment, you have a willingness to become more flexible, compassionate, and open when it comes to handling rejection, setbacks, and conflict. If you are interested in more beautiful, compassionate, and somatic approaches combined with cognitive and mindset modalities, if you feel excited to experiment with new ideas, tools, and methods that are scientifically proven to help us move from insecure to secure, and if you have seen some improvement in your healing, yet still see yourself stuck with certain patterns, feelings, and insecurities, and if you have an inner knowing that there is more for you, then this 12-week course, Becoming Secure, is for you. Together, we are going to help you to develop 6 skills that can help people to move from insecure attachment to secure. Your relationships are not supposed to drain you, overtake you, or disconnect you from your happiness and well-being. These 6 skills are also incredible because they actually enhance your relationship with yourself, your happiness, your well-being, and I want to bring that to you. If you're interested in joining this 12-week course, 6 modules, plus some bonuses, then I invite you to click the link and find out more. It's got all of the details, it's got the price, it's got what's included. You can ask me questions. I really want you to know that this is my signature course. This is where we are going from here. The price is only going up. Depending on when you're watching this, there is an early bird price before the 3rd. It depends when you're watching this. Go to the link now and check the current price. I would love to invite you on this course. You can be anywhere in the world. It is available for replays. I would love to coach you. If you feel that you have an insecure attachment style, then I know that you can benefit from this. Next is understanding parts. I'm qualified. It's a part of the somatic attachment therapy. One branch of that is called inner relationship focusing. Inner relationship focusing is the part of the work, attachment focused healing, where we begin to understand our story. We begin to understand our rational side, and we really begin to listen. How we talk to ourselves, the specific language that we use in our triggered moments. We're trying to stop our thoughts. We're trying to stop how we feel. We're trying to change everything. And we can do that. But sometimes the reason we're stuck is because the language we're using, or some slight things that we're not quite doing in terms of compassion and listening to ourselves and communicating with ourselves, is slightly off. And so we continue to go in this cycle. What understanding parts does is it helps you to unmerge. Unmerging means when you're triggered, to be able to help you recognize that yes, your body feels intense right now and something is happening that's bringing the past up. However, this is not who I am. And actually, if I can listen to this part in this moment, it really helps. It really brings us back. So the goal with understanding parts, this might be a skill that's new to you. It might be something you've done before. The goal here is to help us not to become the trigger, to become the thought, to become the emotion. We want to keep some distance, but we also need to love our anxious part. A way to do this is to recognize our inner child, our inner critic, and any other parts that are coming up. For me, I love to work with you on inner child and inner critic because I see that, and again, throughout the research, these are the parts that seem to come up and block us over and over again. Your inner child, typically speaking, there isn't literally a child or literally a critic living inside of us. It's just to help us understand it. Is that part that overwhelms with emotion and creates physical shaking or complete shutdown. It's often the part that is being criticized. It's often the part that wants that need met, that wants that person. It hurts. It has a drive. And what I would invite you to do here is to just get a sense of, in the most triggered state that you're here to get help with, get a sense of that inner child. So writing this down. Do you have a sense of its age? The part of you that really feels triggered, that really feels like it needs something from outside of you. Do you have a sense of what it wants and what it doesn't want? In the course, this is where we look at what we call a wanting, not wanting process. Something is happening in those moments when the inner child is in the driver's seat. The inner critic, that's the part that's telling us off for not healing quick enough, for doing that wrong, for being back at square one. It's telling the younger parts off quite often. And there's often this conflict If I want that person, you shouldn't be doing this, you know better. At this stage, when we're doing the work where we're at, there's this inner conflict, because quite often by now people have been doing this work for a while, and it's still that inner critic that's coming in. And so this is where I ask you to get a sense, again, writing down your inner critic. Do you get a sense of the age? Do you get a sense of what it wants for you or what it doesn't want for you? This is where we would use visualizations in the course. This is where we go inwards and we be with each of these individually. I don't want you to have a favor of the inner critic or the inner child, but you might naturally. It depends the state you're in. Right now, you might be fed up with the anxiety. So you might be in a state of criticism towards yourself. Or you might be fed up of criticizing yourself. So you're in a state of criticism towards that. That's when it becomes complex. Inner relationship focusing allows us here to go inwards, to listen, to be slow. And meditation, guided meditations that I provide here is really, really powerful for this. This will be where we're using written exercises. This is where you will be looking at the past. This is where we will be bringing in like forgiveness. We need to soothe our inner child and become our own best friend. So there's a lot of compassion focused work in this module. To deal with our intense feelings of anxiety, we've got to listen to ourselves. Understanding parts is the module where you learn how to listen to, soothe, and manage your inner child. It's where you're going to turn your inner critic down and your inner best friend up. And this is where you're going to learn how to deal with intense feelings of anxiety and avoidance. This is where we go inwards and we learn the art of inner communication. That's a skill that many people do not have. But here we are in these 12 weeks building the skills that we always deserved to learn. I'm going to just close this because there we go. The next skill is resilience. Resilience, the ability to bounce back, the ability to get back up after rejection, after a setback, the ability to move on after your life has not gone the way that you want it to. People with insecure attachment tend to lack when it comes to resilience. They tend to get stuck in those states that I was talking about. So part of the course is to understand your different states and where we get stuck so that we can move back into our resilient, secure state. To have more secure strategies, you tend to see that people can get back up after a setback. They have a bit more flexibility in what they can hold, in their awareness, in their body. So when they experience a trigger or when something in life doesn't go the way that they want it to, they can look at this without making it about their self-worth. So with insecure attachment, we tend to make it about our self-worth. They can look at this without it becoming about self-worth, okay? And they can understand a bigger picture of what is going on. They can understand a bit more about what this could mean for the other person, for themselves. To be able to get clear and get back up after we've been cracked wide open, after our attachment wounds are exposed, is a skill that we all need, because life isn't easy. Life can be tough, and that especially includes relationships. It especially includes dating. You know, it's not easy. And so to work with me on this course where we're going to build your resilience is absolutely going to support you to be able to get through what it takes in the early stages of dating, in later stages of relationships, you know, when things are more serious. And so what I invite you to do right now is, and if you have the workbook, you can use the left column to look at times that you've experienced a setback, that you've experienced rejection and upset, and really think of how at the time it might have felt like the world was ending. It might have felt like this is the worst thing. Maybe there was a house that I want a bit more light there. Maybe there was a house that you wanted and it fell through, but something better come along later. Maybe there's a relationship that didn't work out, and thank goodness it didn't, because now you wouldn't be with this person, whatever it might be. On the left-hand column, I want you to list the falls that you've had. And on the right-hand column, you will list all the ways that this helped you rise, all the ways that this helped you step into yourself to become better, the lessons it's given you, the strength, the ability to be stronger, to be more you. I don't know why, but sometimes we have to be cracked wide open in order to really reveal who we are. On the course, you will learn how to strengthen your ability to bounce back after setbacks, how to stop letting fear of rejection, breakups, and endings stand in the way of your happiness. And we will use the power of self-worth to feel more confident in dating and relationships. The next skill, and the final skill we're going to be working through on becoming secure, is expanding your potential. Expanding your potential is about looking at you as an individual, your dreams, where you're playing small and where you want to grow. Focusing on your dreams means that when somebody comes into your life, you will no longer give yourself up. Your needs will count as well. Your dreams count as well. Not to mention all of the other things. When you know who you are, you're less likely to try and be someone else. You're less likely to dismiss yourself. When you have something that gives you meaning in your life, that allows you to tap into who you really, really are, it's going to be much harder for you to lose yourself in love. So expanding your potential is when we really have fun and we create a vision for your future, and we expand beyond limiting beliefs. We expand beyond the past, we expand beyond where you have been, and we allow you to start growing in confidence and self-belief that you can be more, have more, and do more. That you can experience love on a deeper, meaningful level. That you can hold on to safety without drama, without the need to chase, without the need to play small. Insecure attachment tend to play smaller. Yeah. People with insecure attachment are afraid of risk, afraid of failure, afraid of what this means about me. If I do this, what will people think of me? This will prove that I'm not good enough. People with secure tendencies will be more likely to take risks and say, I'm going to try this thing, I'm going to take this leap. Struggling with things like procrastination and risk taking and getting things done and trying things. This is about trying again. We see this in resilience, and we see this in expanding your potential. And so this is where I invite you for this exercise to write down all of the niggles, write down all of the things that you want for yourself, that you dream of. Take your time with that. Where are you not showing up? Write them down on paper. You've got to say it to create it. If you write it down, you're more likely to bring this into your reality. We've got to stop thinking that we can't. We've got to stop playing small. Just because we have had difficult experiences with love and relationships, we don't have to stay there anymore. This is our chance as adults to choose a new direction. So write down your dreams. I want to help you get there. We're going to spend 2 weeks expanding your potential, tapping into confidence, feeling the fear and doing it anyway, moving towards your passions, your purpose, leaning into who you're really meant to be. Now, this is the part of the course where we are going to understand how your goals can help you feel more secure. This is where you're going to step into your higher self and connect with inner calling and your dreams. And this is where we create a life where you would be excited to date yourself. I want you to be able to say, I would date myself. The skills are self-reflection, emotion regulation, changing your beliefs, understanding parts, resilience, and expanding your potential. We are going to work through each of them over 12 weeks inside Becoming Secure, starting in May. To sign up now, I'm going to put the link here in the chat box so that you can just look at it. There is no pressure. I'm going ahead and doing the course anyway. I would love you to be there. Okay. All of the details are there. This is the lowest price it's ever going to be because this is now my signature course, but this is the first time I'm running it. I'm combining every course that I've ever done before. And I invite you to join me for 12 weeks. We're going to have 2 weeks for each skill. Everything can be on replay, or you can join some of it live. That's completely up to you. Thank you for being here. If any of you now have any questions and you don't need to leave, this is your time. Go for it. If you're on replay, please do leave questions, put them in the comments box, and I will get back to you. If you have a question about this or about the course, I've still got some time. I have a one-to-one client at 2 o'clock. So I've got some time to answer some questions if you have any. You will see me promoting Becoming Secure a lot now in emails, on social media. You're very welcome to join. May, it's going to start in May. However, in April, you will have access to introduction work. Thank you. I'm going to upload it with resources like podcasts, my videos, things that are going to help you already, that when we get on that course, you're like, oh, I understand why we're doing this. I don't have any books, no. Thank you. I don't have any books. Maybe one day. Yes, ADHD comes up a lot with my clients. And sometimes I think, oh, I wonder what needs to be looked at there. Insecure attachment, okay, struggle to regulate, struggle with slowness, struggle to focus, struggle to be grounded. We're very much in fight or flight, very worried, very here, there. Meditation can seem impossible. There's lots and lots of similarities. So yes, these 6 skills, if you look at the work needed to help with ADHD, you're going to see emotion regulation, self-reflection, slowness. You're going to see these things help with procrastination. And that's where understanding parts really comes in. So if you know that you procrastinate, if you put things off, if you do all of the things, then things like understanding parts is going to be really fantastic for that. Don't know if any of you have ever done any parts work. It's the things that have really changed my experience with Becoming Secure is the somatic work. That's the slowness, the emotion regulation, the self-reflection, and the understanding parts. They were the missing piece. Changing thoughts, things like that, they were the ones that I could only use them once I had these other foundations. Could you please talk about aggressive behavior or anxious attached person too? Can you ask me a little bit more about that? If you can ask me a question, because that's very broad, then I might be able to answer it. Could you please give a little detail about the courses you have taken, what college, etc.? So, I mean, I studied psychology initially at university. I then went on to work for the NHS delivering cognitive behavioural therapy. within mental health and substance misuse services, did so many courses along the way. With the NHS, they trained me in cognitive behavioural therapy, working with depression, anxiety, and compassion focused therapy. I've gone on to do somatic attachment qualifications and further compassion focused therapy as well. There's a lot there. Is it better to work through the anxious attachment when in a relationship as we go through the real scenarios, just wherever you're at, right? Wherever you're at, you meet yourself where you are. If the relationship is too toxic, too painful, you might need to take some space to work on it yourself. That's possible. People do that. But there's also many successful stories. I work with people who also manage and overcome this in relationship. I got re-triggered when I came into relationship after doing years of work single and had to redo some of the work. You know, I'm fearful I may relapse. I had so much more awareness when in relationship. I was able, these 6 skills specifically helped me to communicate, helped me to reflect, and helped me to notice when I was in relationship and things were not good because I was so triggered. I knew myself so well. I knew these skills so well. I knew what I needed to do. That was especially the first 6 months of this relationship. I absolutely got re-triggered, but I am still in that relationship because I was able to use these secure skills. And I believe that that is why this relationship was able to go on. There is a time without the skills, I don't know. I think I would have pushed it away. It would have been old patterns, things like that. Have anxiety attachment style. What's the first step I should do when I get triggered by my friend, partner, family? The very first thing I would say is probably, it's between self-reflection and emotion regulation. That's what I would say. What's your cost process for working one-to-one? The cost process, so the course is a very low price at the moment for you guys of £399. Yeah, so these 6 skills you can get for £399 right now until Monday. Then it's going to go up to like 500 quid basically. If you want one-to-one, you get 8 one-to-one sessions with me. It's 1498. It's an investment. 1498 plus you do get this course as well. Yeah, so if you sign up now, you get this course as well as part of the promotion. You do not get one-to-one with the course. You get the course with one-to-one if you sign up. For example, when a man does something that triggers my anxiety, I can become aggressive with words towards him rather than leaving him or being myself. I feel like I need to make him feel how he hurt me. So the reaction there is to go outwards, perhaps with aggression, with anger. So I would be getting really in detail about where that is coming from and also those first signs of anger. We have to understand exactly what our first signs are so that we can then soothe. At the moment, your strategy is to go outwards and tell this person how you feel, but we need to change that strategy. Yeah, we need you to not go outwards immediately. We need you to regulate first. Get really, really clear on how those behaviors are, those current strategies are hurting you. If you stay the same, we will be doing this on the course. If you continue to stay the same, what does this mean for you? And changing. So if you were to change your strategy, how would that help? When I'm activated, I realize I'm activated, but struggle to pull myself out. How to expand my nervous system? That's exactly what this course is. Those honestly, the answer to that is the 6 skills that I have just been through will expand your nervous system. Yeah, we can hold more when we can self-reflect, when we have the ability to be resilient, to slow down, to pause. So the answer to that is these 6 skills. So I absolutely encourage you to attend the course, to join the course. Okay, guys, I've gone over for 10 minutes. So I'm going to leave it there. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I will be in touch. Please send me a DM, message me, email me if you have further questions, and I'll be in touch with you soon to share the link again to the course. Thank you for being here, and I will see you again soon. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good, I'm so pleased, so pleased.